So now let's take a look at insertion sort. So I'm going to bring up an array here, and insertion sort always starts with the second item, and then we compare it to the item before it, in this case, the 4. If it is less than the item that is before it, we switch them like this and drop that in there. Then we move to the next item. In this case, the 6 is not less than 4, so that's going to stay put. And now the 5 is less than the 6. We will move that over, and then we'll compare the 5 to the 4. It's not less than the 4, so that's the spot where that goes. And now the 1 is less than the 6, and the 5, and the 4, and finally the 2, and we drop that in there. And then one more item. This is less than the 6 and the 5 and the 4. And we drop that in there. And now they are all sorted, so I will color them green. So in the next video, we're just going to start with an array that looks like this. I'm only going to have 2 that are out of place, so we can go through this a lot faster. And we will pick up here in the next video when we code insertion sort. So now we're going to write our code for insertion sort. We'll pick up where we left off in the last video with this array, and I'll move this down to the bottom, and then we'll start writing our code. We'll call this insertion sort. We'll pass it an array of integers that we call array, and the return type will be void. So we'll start this out with a for loop. So with most of our for loops we've set I equal to 0, but in this case, we're going to start with the second item in the array, which has an index of 1. Then we're going to store that value in a variable called temp. So temp will be set equal to array at the index of I. So for this first iteration, temp is going to be equal to 2. So we're going to have another variable called j that points to the previous item. We'll do that like this, j equals I minus 1. So what I'm going to do is put this back, and I'm going to skip down to here because all of the items are in order until we get to here. And then we'll point j at that previous item, and we'll go into our while loop. So we'll say while temp is less than array at the index of j, and this is j here, that 4, and temp is this item. So this conditional is true. We'll say array at j plus 1 equals the value that's at array at the index of j. So what that does is just move that 4 over. So the next thing we need to do is move that 3 into this spot. We'll do that by saying array at the index of j is equal to temp. And then we need to move j over, and we'll do that by saying j minus minus. Then we'll run the while loop again, but in this case, temp is not less than array at the index of j. So we'll just put that right there. So there is an edge case that we have to deal with. And in order to explain that, I'm going to take the first 2 items in the array, and I'm going to switch them. So we'll set temp to be equal to 1, and then j will be the index of the item before this. So we'll go into our while loop, and we'll say while temp is less than array at the index of j, and that is the case here. And then we'll run this line here, which moves that 2 over, and then we'll run this line, which moves this over. But the problem happens when we say j minus minus. And the problem is when we move j over, it's now pointing to the index of -1, which of course does not exist. So we need to add something to our while loop. So we have to add this part here. J has to be greater than -1. So one of the things that's very important when you write this conditional is these 2 things have to be written in the right order. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to switch these. If we do it like this, we're going to be looking for array at the index of -1, and we're going to get an error. So we have to check to see if j is greater than -1 first. So it is very important that this order is correct. And now that deals with our edge case. So now that runs correctly, and we can drop that right there. And that is all of our code for insertion sort. We'll look at this code in a moment in IntelliJ, and when we do, we'll start with an array that looks like this, and then we'll run insertion sort on that, and then we'll print it out, and we would expect that array to be sorted. So now let's flip over to IntelliJ and take a look at this. So there is our insertion sort method there, and I'll scroll up. And in our main method, we'll start by creating that array that we just saw, and then we'll run insertion sort on the array with this line here, and then we'll print that out. And I'll run this, and you can see that we now have a sorted array with 1 through 6. And that is our method for insertion sort. So I want to touch on the big O of insertion sort. Obviously, because it has a for loop inside of a for loop, it is O of n squared. That's for its worst case. That is the true big O of this would be O of n squared. But let's look at a situation where something is almost sorted. We're going to start here, and we don't do anything else because the item before it is less than. We put that back. And this one, everything before it is less than, so we're not going to do anything. And this one, we're just going to move it over 1 and drop this in. And then we go to the next one. And then we keep going through to the end of the array. And you can see that we basically just made one pass. This would be n complexity, not n squared. And I wanted to point this out because the next couple of sorting algorithms are much more efficient. They are O of n times log n. They're more complex to write, but they are faster. But they're not going to be faster if you have almost sorted data. You can use one of these sorting algorithms that are more primitive, like insertion sort, that is O of n squared typically, and have it actually run faster. So I just wanted to touch on this aspect of the insertion sort big O.